Hello, and welcome back to what I cannot believe is week 4 of these collage journal episodes. Yeah, thanks for following along. If you want to catch up on the previous videos, I'll put the links below in the description box. And if you want updates on new videos, because I am trying to release them weekly, feel free to subscribe and hit the little bell button for notifications, and then you'll get updated every time there's a new post. Also, if you follow the Instagram page that I have set up for Ouroboros, then you may have seen a challenge that I put up. I know people are starting to get bored and run out of things to do in their home because we're still on quarantine. Yay for isolation. Actually, thank you so much for social distancing and quarantining. It really does help a lot. But if you are finding yourself bored, I did post a challenge on Instagram, doing a call out for anyone who likes to experiment with makeup and express through makeup. I would love to see some of your ideas for makeup art that suits each of the aesthetics from the different episodes that I've done so far. Feel free to follow on Instagram for more updates on that. Instagram link is also in the description box below. Anywho, let's get right to it. This week, we are kind of, following the same dreamy-like feel, but this is more so towards the real world again. I know a lot of us are probably missing human contact, but I have seen a lot of positivity and love on social media, so I wanted to capture that, and I felt an aesthetic that really fit that is what I call Earthbound Cherub. I don't know, I feel like it's a really good aesthetic that captures kind of like the light, breezy, romantic side of human nature, and like the compassionate side of relationships. So the key colors that I picked are light pink, some green, some skin tones, and blue. So I kind of wanted like something that's really peaceful and welcoming and familiar. Soft colors generally feel like comforting and familiar, if not a bit like dreamy and romantic. So I wanted to incorporate those. Pink, blue, and green are all colors that I also associate with spring, and since spring is finally starting to show herself, I felt like this was a really good time to do this piece. I actually had so much luck when I was going through my magazines and stuff. Magazines and just different scraps that I could work with. I found so many things and got so many ideas as I was flipping through, and I'm really excited to piece them all together. I know with this one, I am very indecisive. All of my work so far, I've kind of just gone in without a plan and kind of watched where it took me. But I've been really, really pleased with how they've been turning out. But that still doesn't stop that little bit of anxiety about not being perfect. Woo, perfectionism, we love it. Okay, so obviously with the aesthetic name Earthbound Cherub, I wanted to include a lot of floral imagery, but I also really liked the idea of incorporating clouds, so I cut out a lot of clouds and painted clouds later on to get the feel of the angelic side. Obviously for the flowers, my DeSera's book of like scrapbook pages came through, and I have this beautiful page that's just roses, so I pulled a lot of the colors out and luckily found some solid strips of those colors in magazines and stuff, so I decided to incorporate those as well. If you're wondering where the absolutely enormous rose on the right page came from, I cut it out from a like cardstock placeholder photo in a Dollarama photo album. I cut it out probably back in December, maybe January, and I've just saved it ever since because I figured it would come in handy for like a vision board or something, and luckily it did. I got to use it in this piece, which I think it looks really, really good when it all comes together. So While we're on the subject of flowers and things that I've saved for a really long time, the cherry blossom pictures that I have cut out and kind of scattered around, I have saved since I got these magazines back in January. I cut that page out first because I absolutely love cherry blossoms. I just think they're so beautiful and very light. I don't know, they just seem so pretty, and I wanted to incorporate them, and the colors matched perfectly with this page, so I'm really happy that I finally could. So as I mentioned at the beginning, the words that I kind of associate to this aesthetic are compassion, passion, romantic, but also social. So I figured I wouldn't be able to get away with not including some people or like body parts at the very least, so I did make sure to include some of those. Recently I've found a lot of art on social media that's been posted of torsos with the eyes like crossed out, or there's something over the eyes, or just like the top of the heads are missing. And I think it looks really cool, so I wanted to incorporate that. And luckily I found a picture, I think, of Lady Gaga. I'm not really sure, it's really hard to tell without the eyes now, but I did include that, and I think it looks really romantic and gentle the way that her face is kind of resting, or I guess half of her face because I cut the top part off, but you get what I mean. Now, unfortunately, my camera died right as I was doing the writing portion of this, but I did include some spots that are open with lined paper, and I had a part of a poem that I had written earlier in the week during Earth Hour that I wanted to include because it does mention Cupid's touch, and I felt that was relevant. And then, of course, I have the values, or some of the values that I associate to this aesthetic. And like always, I made sure to include the name of the aesthetic on the page itself. After painting clouds on the side of the right page, I wanted to include two hands reaching towards each other. I found these two hands in separate parts of the same magazine, but I wanted to kind of replicate Michelangelo's creation of Adam. So I have the arms reaching towards each other, but ample space because social distancing, folks. And so that wraps up episode 4. Thanks for coming along on this journey. Hopefully you can feel the love through this page and you're staying safe and out of reach of other people like the Michelangelo hands that I have on this page. Okay, until next week. Thanks, bye!